Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's rendition of the NeQter Town Hall webinars. Um, Not going to be a whole crazy amount to review today. We're mostly just going to focus on a quick recap of the most recent update, and we will be going over what we have planned for the next update as well. Patrick, as always, is joining me and will be taking the lead on this. And we will, of course, be open to questions at the end. But feel free to pause us at any point in time if you encounter something that Patrick goes over that doesn't make a complete sense. Feel free to ask about that as well. Pat, I will pass the floor over to you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Hey, everybody, I can't believe it's already March. I feel like I blinked and it's January, it's a new year, and we're already nearly a quarter of the way through. So, yeah, as Nick mentioned, we are going to be recapping. I want to go kind of quickly on 217 because we've hashed that out over the past two webinars, but we will be getting our eyes on some of the new aspects of 218, or I believe that's the running number we're going to be going with. I don't think it's going to be a 217.x. I believe we're going with 218 with the new update. It should be coming out in the next few weeks. We're kind of putting a bow on it, wrapping up some stuff, and are going to be undergoing testing. So the goal is for next month's webinar, I'll be showing you live with the update what we're going to be having come out. And then, of course, any Q&A that anyone would like to jump in on any aspect of the platform, let us know today. So just to rehash, update 217, we had a few good changes in here. First and foremost, MFA, email passcode that we included. And we have had some users over the past couple months or so who, got locked out with their MFA, but unfortunately we have a stopgap for that too, so people don't get locked out, able to kind of reset the MFA and then reissue it because it is a toggle. But with MFA, with configuration under settings, the users area, which now has multiple things you can change, including the auto logout, which was a new feature. MFA has been quickly been adopted by a lot of clients, and it is important for security as well, of course. And email passcode to the email on file with the user will let you know if a toast notification is going to let you know that the passcode has gone out. So, of course, if there's an issue with MFA, that toast notification won't pop up, and then you'll know that that email hasn't been sent. And once you get it, you're going to punch it in and log in successfully. The biggest thing or the biggest issue that we've seen with the MFA is, of course, make sure you have a SMTP mail relay set up correctly. And then, of course, if you change any of the settings on your SMTP mail relay or anything with your email, it is going to reset the settings in NeQter. So you just kind of want to avoid that. I actually did that myself. And then had to go in and deactivate and then reactivate MFA. You can, of course, test it with the send test mail feature. Reports is actually something that has gotten a lot of attention with the newest or the update that's going to be coming out, 218, because as with any new feature, you come out with something and you want to see how people use it, and then there was a couple things that we had that were some oversights, a couple glaring, and we wanted to fix that with the new update. So we'll be covering what that looks like, but have had a lot of use of the new reports, a lot of use cases that, because sometimes you're not going to be able to go into the NeQter all the time, or you don't want to have to go into NeQter if you don't need to. And that's really what reports is going to help with. We had one user who, for an assessment standpoint, they had and this wasn't NeQter CMMC related, it was something else, where they were maintaining 30 days of live logs and a full year archive for, archive logs, a cold storage that had been set up with a Samba share or to their NAS. And, the auditor had come in and they said, hey, we want to see X log types last January. And they did have the logs in the archive, but of course restoring can take a bit of time, and they were able to accomplish it, but there was a lot of time injected into the process. So one of the things that we had suggested, and you'll be able to do with this new system, is if there's certain logs or certain searches that you want to have recurring, say, for example, you wanted to just have a complete summary of all admin logins or successful logins on AD for the past month and have that run monthly. When you run that report, those logs are going to be maintained in this system and will be listed in past reports. So for that use case, for that user, they can just come in here, go to last January, export the Excel with all of those logs, and show that to the auditor. So a lot of different use cases that we're seeing with this, and we want to continually build in more and more use cases. One of the things that I'll be getting to later is a couple more default reports that are going to be included specifically from a vulnerability scanning standpoint, and we're going to keep building and building more reports in current formats. For custom reports right now are JSON and Excel. Any NeQter reports that we build are going to be able to be in HTML or Excel as well. So I'm just going to take a quick aside. I see a question in right now from Mark. Will there be SSO to NeQter anytime soon, or LDAP integration would be fine too? So good thing, Mark. LDAP is already an option for you to set up with NeQter. So I can show you what that looks like in a bit, but that is supported right now. And as we shift, as I've been mentioning in past webinars, to OpenSearch, we're going to evaluate potentially additional authentication means, but LDAP's in there right now. You can set it up. One of the things that we did with LDAP or added after the fact with MFA is not all LDAP users have an associated email. So what we did was, if a user didn't have an associated email, you are able to edit the LDAP user in settings to assign an email, so that when that user goes to log in, that email passcode will go to that email. So that was a kind of a safety net that we put for LDAP. So going back to this, there's of course scheduled reports that you can set up, and also on-demand reports that can be set up and configured to run instantaneously. And we're going to be enhancing that with the new update as well. Just mentioned report schedules, daily, weekly, monthly, we can have for different reports. And then again, you can change the time range of what is included in the report. And you can have, of course, the reports be delivered to multiple emails. So biggest thing with this, and we have gotten a lot of good feedback already, but keep it coming. We want to know what reports you want to see. Can we accomplish that just by assisting the user to create a custom search and then loading that custom search up as a custom report? Or is it something more beneficial to all of our users, a common or recurring event type or outcome or vendor that we can build a system report or just a default NeQter report into the tool and have everyone benefit. So we've had a bit of both, and we'll be continually building out the new report area. And again, any search that is created from filters and saved can be integrated into other areas of the platform. So you could have a tandem of a custom search kicking you a alert, but then also running a monthly scheduled report. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to that. So we definitely want your feedback. I mentioned this and we'll quickly review auto logout improvement. So some users with large environments, might have NeQter up on a big screen in an internal NOC, and having to log in isn't the best. So you are able to disable auto logout, or you can change you can go all the way down to 10, all the way up to 120 minutes for auto logout, based on, of course, inactivity. And the last update, we had added Juniper firewall support, just like any other firewall. It's going to be syslog. It's going to have the same data types and outcomes, and is set up through under settings and inputs. So all of that stuff out of the way, stuff that we've already covered. Now we have what is going to be coming out in the next update. So one of the things, and I alluded to this already, report enhancements. So this was fully in oversight on launch. The newly created reports are going to be displayed in the table. If you give it a name, it's going to have that name, because that makes sense. Before it would just say custom report, and this is definitely going to be more detailed, allow you to find things much more easily. And of course, the custom report name that you give it is going to be listed in the table, and then when you download that report, it will have that name as well. Again, makes sense. So that's going to be an improvement that we have coming out in the new update. And also, one of the things that we added for custom reports is when you download a custom Excel report and you aggregate by a field. Say you had a Sonic Wall firewall report and you wanted to aggregate by IP address. Well, now all of the tabs on the Excel report will have the descriptor of, so if it's aggregated by IP, it's going to have the IP on the group tab name, for example, or whatever it is. If it's by host name, it will have. So it will, again, allow you to more easily sift through the data, click on things, filter them down after you export that report. And additionally, with those enhancements, ability to name on-demand reports as well, and adding a loading state to on-demand reports to prevent duplicate reports from being generated, because depending on your search, it might take a little bit for the tool to sift through all that, thousands of entries, and you don't want to go, hey, this isn't running, let me click it again, have it run twice, which is what happened a few different times. So we wanted to curb that by having a loading state. And then, of course, a refresh button to the reports page, because when you run a report, you want it to show up within the tab. Unless you had prompted it with a refresh, you might say, oh man, my report didn't run. So just a couple nice to haves that we're adding there to make the reports feature even better. And supporting the enhancements to the reports area is, like I had mentioned, so our guy Jose has been adding in some nice new vulnerability reports. The first one is going to be vulnerabilities by host, and the other one is going to be vulnerability ranked host report. And there's a lot of great reports, as you guys know, that in OpenVAS or in the vulnerability scanner, It has a lot of good report types. Well, of course, we want to consolidate everything into our reports area. So you have one source, one area. So there will be a bit of duplication of reports, but it's going to be tied into this nice new report area and allow you to customize what tasks that you want to select from. One of the issues with OpenVOS is you click in and you have to go into the task. You got to go into the reports. You might just want to see all vulnerabilities for all tasks that are run. You can do that. With this, the task selector can be all, or you can say, I want to, maybe I have this VLAN have its own task. I only want to see that information. So you can do that. You're also going to be able, as you can see, filter by quality of detection. Again, with the OpenVOS reports, they have a minimum QOD of 70, and that's kind of baked in there unless you go in, customize it, change it. With this, you can do it right here. So there's a lot of added benefit to having these recurring reports run, have them be in Excel. And again, with those new enhancements of grouping and custom naming, you're going to be able to get the exact types of reports that you want, or the types of data within vulnerabilities within this view here. And we're going to be adding a couple more vulnerability report types, and I'll be able to talk about that next time as I can show you some of the when the update is live, show you in our demo system what that looks like. So just a little bit of a preview of what is coming in 2.18 with that. One of the things, again, really just making life easier. This was something that we had, and then it unfortunately gotten removed in an update, and is being added again, of being able to search for your saved searches in the saved search area. We're also going to be alphabetizing them in the custom report area. So when you make a custom report, have those saved searches be alphabetized and also searchable. And in terms of custom search aggregations for the custom report types, again, when you download that, those grouped by, that's what's going to have those new tab names. But one of the things that we've added is, before it was, hey, here's the kitchen sink, here's every single possible field that you could group by. Well, if there's no data in that field and you group by that field, that report's not going to have good value for you. So what we've done is detected now, is there data within this field? Is this field present? And there's going to be a subset of only those fields. So when you go make a custom search, you want to group by or aggregate by a field, only the fields that have data in them are going to get listed. So that will save you time and effort and be a lot more clear when you do those custom searches. So I'll be able to show all of that live when the update is live next time, but just want to clue you into some nice enhancements that we're adding here. And something that wasn't on our radar, but we were able to just add it in pretty quickly. Our dev Austin really just expedited this and said, "Hey, it's we've got data." So we've had a couple requests for Cisco AMP, or formerly Cisco AMP, is now called Cisco Secure Endpoint. We've added this in as an API, so you'll be able to pull directly from the API and tie it right into NeQter. Has its own, much like all the other integrations, has its own dashboard, has its own index. It's going to have its own searches, and you can tie it in the report area. So you'll be able to see outcomes, severity levels, endpoint isolation events, and any endpoint-related events for Cisco Secure Endpoint. So that's going to be a nice little bonus in this update in here.
And you did just get another question in from Mark.
Mm-hmm.
wondering if you would demo pulling an installed software report from a connected client's PC.
Yeah, so I'll show the two things that Mark talked about, and then on this one, and then of course those were covered in other town halls. But yeah, we'll wrap up with that, and again, of course, if we have any other questions, we'll cover that. So Cisco Secure Endpoint, and then I think the next thing I just wanted to cover quickly is we have an agent update coming out for Windows agents, and it's not going to be a increase of features, but what it's going to be is we've had some issues, especially Windows 11, with reliability on install or uninstalling the agents. So the new agent update is going to solidify the agent, make it more reliable for those types of installations. And we're also going to be, this is something that's come up prior, we're going to be digitally signing the agents, which has come up as an issue for if people are manually installing the MSI. Sometimes comes up with a quote-unquote potentially malicious software warning from Windows. So that's going to all be alleviated with the digital signing of the agents. And then lastly, and I think we mentioned this on a previous town hall, but Red Hat agents, we have them, and we have a couple people using them, but we really want them to get a little bit more field tested. Lots of our clients have gone the route of Ubuntu, so we of course have those agents, and many people are successfully using those. But with Red Hat, we just want some more testing, so raise your hand. Please let us know if you'd like to get those agents, install them on your Red Hat systems, or those RPM packages, so we can be confident and make sure that there's nothing that we need to fix with our Red Hat agent. So let us know, give us a shout out if that's something that you're interested in. And lastly, and I think this will be really nice, is for the documentation flyout that we have in NeQter. We're going to have it anchored to wherever you're viewing. So if you're on the vulnerability scanner, you open up the documentation tab, it's going to anchor to the vulnerability scanner area, for example. So it will open based on the content being viewed. So I think it's going to be really cool. And then the small ask that we added, HTML files being added as artifacts to the compliance tool. We have HTML as a supported documentation type now for upload and attachment. So that's that was a long walk in terms of covering what we have and what we're adding. And of course, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'm just going to help Mark out real quick by showing the LDAP integration, and then of course how to pull a installed software report from connected PCs, but then also full inventory. So let me do that. So for first item of business, the LDAP integration. So that's just going to be if we navigate to settings and the users area. So let's give this a second to come up here. Nick, any other questions that you can see?
No, not at this time, Pat.
Okay. So we're going to navigate to settings, go to users. So for LDAP, you're going to go up right here, edit LDAP settings. And this is where you're going to put in your server address, your port, your base DN, and then authenticating into LDAP. For for LDAP or, kind of have it disabled. So once you synchronize that, then all the users are going to file in and get listed, and then you can add them one by one. They'll get listed out in here, and their type will be designated as LDAP or local. And then you can, if they don't have an assigned email address or an email wasn't pulled with the LDAP user, you can add it in here. So then MFA will work successfully if it's enabled. So that's number one. Number two is being able to, installed software report. So we're going to be able to do this in a couple different areas. So we had it first, if we go into hosts and we go into software, you can just say, you know what, I want to download the current view, with the current view being all software for all assets within here in a Excel. And if you wanted to, you can configure the fields and make it custom. If we went in and filtered something, say we had a tag and we have this tag here for CUI. We only wanted CUI assets in that software list. Well, you can, when you hit download and it says current view, the current view is going to be whatever filters are applied that we can download. Of course, if you want full software and hardware, you're going to select full inventory report, and you can download that directly here in a nice formatted Excel. And if we pull that up, it's just going to have everything listed out and tabbed very nicely, very neatly in this Excel here. Now, this report that we went into hosts and went into hardware or software and clicked download, because if you go to hardware, you can do the same thing, hit download and get everything there. Additionally, this is a report type that is on demand. If we click on the little plus icon here, we can just say, I want it right now. Give me this full inventory report. Run it, and it will download. Or if we go to the reports area and we go into reports, so we click on the reports tab, we click on reports on the top here, we can schedule, new schedule, full inventory report, and name it and say, I want to receive this weekly. You could say daily, weekly, or monthly. So monthly is probably a good frequency. Well, I'm going to just name this monthly inventory report and get it monthly. I can either elect to just have it run and store in here, or have it shoot me an email. Just add in my email here, and I can have multiple people receive this report via email. And if I save this, this is going to get saved over here right now, monthly inventory report, and then that's going to run monthly. Or I can have it run right now, full inventory report, and have it run, and I can save it off. But it's also, because I ran it, and see, that's why we added the refresh to the new report area. I had to refresh it here. That inventory report, once this loads, is going to be right here. Snapped moment in time, and I can download that off of here as often as I want to. And when it runs monthly, it's going to get listed in here as well. And again, all of the values, all of the data that is comprised in that report is getting stored in here in perpetuity, unless it gets deleted by a user. So hopefully that that covers, okay, all caps. You're welcome, Mark. So that's what, a couple different ways if you want to be in hosts and run it, or you can run on demand, or you can come in here and schedule it, have it recurring, either store in here or send you an email. So you'll probably go the monthly email route, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's just going to get sent to you, and you can review it then and there. So that's what that looks like. Any other questions come in? It's been all Mark today.
No, so far just Mark. We've got a few minutes to see if anybody else has any questions. Wrap things up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And hope everyone's been noticing. I'm trying to theme out the our webinars here. Just decided to start doing that this year, make it a little bit more interesting since it's St. Patrick's Day this month. So yeah, so any comments or any questions, just drop them in the chat. Otherwise, of course, all of these get recorded and get uploaded to the NeQter Labs YouTube channel, which is you can visit YouTube at NeQter_Labs, and you can subscribe so you get reminded through YouTube when they get uploaded. Typically try to do day after, or at least the same week in case things get busy. Just so everyone gets covered, and you can go in there and watch it as many times as you need to.
One more question, Mark.
Yeah.
Saw that you had that nice CUI filter built out for one of the ports. Can you go over how you went about building?
Yeah, so I used the term CUI that I used. So in the hosts area, and I know you've been with us a while, Mark, and I'm sure you remember the old school OCS inventory that we used to have. So with this new inventory area that we have, when you have a host that has an agent, all the agents get fed in, all the hosts get listed out under the agents area, and of course get listed out in this inventory area here. What you're able to do, so we can see visually these tags here, these are dynamic tags that if you go into a host and you go into edit, you're going to be able to do a couple things. If you don't like the automatically pulled host name that the agent assigned, you can type in a custom host name. You can also write in a description area. Descriptions are limited to 1,000 characters, but you can fit a fair portion of detail in here. If there's a hardware asset tag associated with an asset, you can type that in as well. If you also wanted to give it a location designator, whether it's a room or if you have multiple physical sites, you can type that in here. And then there's this dynamic tags area. So we have a fair portion, about a couple dozen different tags that you can select from by default. But anything that you type in and just hit enter can be used as a dynamic tag. So say, I'm trying to think of a good tag to use that's not already in here. Okay, so one that's not in here is maybe I wanted to say this is a printing server, right? This asset. So I could type out printing server, or I could just put printing. And if I hit enter, we're now going to have a new tag with a new color, printing tag server, that I can go and hit save. And now this host is going to have this dynamic tag associated with it. And now I can search by that tag. So in the inventory, I can just see, okay, I have one host that has this tag that I just assigned, and we're just going to uncheck that. Now we're going to give that to another host. As I can see with this host, this has just gotten the laundry list treatment. I just keep adding different tags, probably for my demo purposes, but we're going to add a little bit more. We're going to add that new printing server tag that I created. So if I save that and I go back, now I filter I have two tags here, or rather two hosts with this tag associated. But more importantly, if I go to hardware or I go to software and I say, you know what, I only want to see software for hosts that are printing servers, I go to this tag area here, and now I select printing server, and we can filter that there. Yeah, so just I saw your comment. Yeah, so it is arbitrary. We're not doing any math or any analysis of this is a, quote unquote CUI asset. It is a user designated tag. We just have a range of default tags that you can select from, CUI, CRMA, SPA, maybe out of scope, server, user PC. We just included a bunch of common ones that we thought people would use, but if there's something more specific, like if you have certain departments or certain applications and you want to associate multiple tags, maybe for a user PC or a PC, it's a server, it's a Windows machine, and it's a printing server, and maybe the tag you want to associate location, so maybe it's on the shop floor. So just a way to better organize your thoughts, organize the data, and say, you know what, I want to select this tag, but you can select multiple ones too. So maybe you say, I only want printing servers that are on the shop floor, for example, and then filter that. And then if I download this current view, now I'm only going to get a software list of printing servers that are on the shop floor. So just a little bit organizational ability that we had with that tagging system. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, unfortunately, nothing too sexy in terms of automatically designating something as a certain scoped type of asset. Maybe in future we'll look to do that. But right now it's more of a note-taking and easy way to better organize your inventory within the NeQter Labs inventory system. So yeah, and don't apologize, Mark, for asking questions. They're all great questions, and makes it so it's a little bit more of a call and response rather than me just having a monologue, which I always appreciate any feedback and questions from everybody. So, if anyone else doesn't want to be shy and has any questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, we'll take another minute or two and wrap up another monthly webinar. I like to think successful monthly webinar. So. Looks like that might be it, Nick.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. So if you're all out of monologues for the day, that a little bit of time back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I appreciate everyone's time, and just to reiterate, this is recorded. Will be put up on the NeQter Labs YouTube. If you have not subscribed already, please do, so you get reminded, and then you can view these at your leisure whenever you need to, or if you have additional questions. So I'll hand it to you, Nick, to wrap things up.
Yeah, I mean, just as always, thanks again, everybody. Everyone has a fun and safe St. Patrick's Day. All again next month.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Have a great month. Have a great St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you again soon.